Hi, thanks for joining us on the Nourishing the Community Podcast, where we're going to be talking about all things happening in the community with nonprofits and community needs and how you, the listener, can get involved and make some change. I'm your host, LaDonna Parham. This is my co-host,
Norman Hanks. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Nourishing the Community Podcast. I'm your host, Norman Hanks. That's my last name. Almost didn't say it. And today in the hot seat, we've got Shane Lowry with Murfreesboro Little Theatre. How are you, Shane?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming by and talking to us. So, first question, what is your position with Murfreesboro Little Theatre, and how long have you been with the company?
Well, I'm now the past president, which basically means I just advise the current president. I've been involved with him. When did we do?
That was at least 2013?
Yeah, so.
Is that right?
So longer than that.
2003?
No, yeah, I think 2003.
Yeah,
more like
I think that's, yeah.
So over 20 years, I've been involved with him.
Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. So you've been there for a lot of changes.
Yeah.
You've caused a lot of changes, right?
I hope the positive ones.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with the theater right now. What's different since you started with them 20,000+ years ago? I know it was a long time ago. We're saying this because we did a show together in 2003.
Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
At the VA.
Yes, because there wasn't a home for the theater at that time.
Yeah,
right?
That was one of the first times they were homeless.
Yeah, first times they were homeless. Yeah, I love that theater there. It was a great little play space.
Yeah, we actually we didn't perform in the theater, but we just performed at the VA again for, I think, the first time since whatever that season was.
Wow.
Because we were doing, I guess we'll go into this more at some point, but we're in the process of doing our Soaring Stage series, which is it's two different things, and one of them just completed where we take a show to senior citizens facilities.
Oh, cool.
And so I think it was 10 different performances, 8 to 10, I can't remember, but 10 different performances. I think over 500 seniors, all for free for them. Went to the VA, did it in their dining hall. And so awesome. We take in the whole set, costumes, everything. Sometimes we've got a little bit of space. Sometimes we had a ton of space. Change it next to wide open windows, stuff like that. But it was awesome. That was an awesome experience to be back at the VA, and because most of the senior places, the majority women.
Yes.
But at the VA, it's majority men.
Right.
And so the cast was made up of mostly women over their 40s. So their reactions were quite different. It was a show called The Hallelujah Girls, which was written by the same people that wrote the Golden Girls.
Okay.
So it's that kind of humor. And so we went to the VA, St. Clair Senior Center, Smyrna Senior Center, and several other senior homes, Mount Juliet, and all over the place. So we keep hoping every year that it grows and grows and grows. I think we doubled our numbers on everything this year, and Tennessee Arts Commission helps with that one.
That's awesome. So how long has that program been running?
This is the 4th year. It actually started, so our president, Emma Hawkins, it started because of her grandmother. She lives in Westbrook Towers, and she'd talk about how hard it was for grandma to be able to get to the shows. And we were doing a kids show, I think it was Junie B. Jones. We were doing that at the time, and I said, well, why don't you talk to them and we can see if we can just take the show over to her. And so we took it over there, and the seniors had a good time with it, and that's when we realized elderly people can't hear very well, and kids can't talk very loud, and that's not the perfect combination.
Yeah, maybe not.
And so the next year we switched to a more adult-focused comedy, good old Southern fried comedy type show. Yeah. And so the last 3 years we've done Always a Bridesmaid, Spirit Level, and Hallelujah Girls.
That's awesome.
And I think we're already looking at next year another Jones Hope Wooten show called I can't remember the name of it.
It's all right. It happens.
Yeah.
So Tell us, what other programming does MLT offer? My brain just stopped working for 2 seconds. Murfreesboro Little Theater, I've always called MLT just because that's who you are, right? So what other programming does MLT offer?
Well,
I know y'all have a children's program.
Well, and so that's we're kind of in the process of rebuilding that, and that's the second half of the Soaring Stage series. Is we're touring a kids show called The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Fairy Tales to a bunch of libraries and the Boys and Girls Club and the Discovery Center, and so we're touring that around, and it's a mixture of adults. I play all the old characters in it, and it's got little kids in it. Like my daughter's in it, so that's fun. So it's about half and half adults, half kids, and we just started that last Thursday at the Smyrna Library, and there were 175 people that came to see it.
Good Lord, where did y'all fit that many people?
They
there?
have a very small room, and Amy and them over there, they run a very efficient ship over there, and they had everybody in the kids area looking at books and having a good time before, and then they put out all these mats, and then they get all the kids in, they put the adults in the back, and it was insane. I said there was because it's mostly preschool, and you got some babies in there, and so it was this constant white noise of the sound of children, because it was like 3 or 4 were always crying, a lot of them were excited and talking, and some of them were singing, and so our I think 16-year-old lead had to talk over all of that.
Oh man!
I just said to Elena, I said, go out there and make them all love you, and she did great. And it is one of the most fun things I have ever done in theater, is going out there and seeing that many little kids and just getting to play with them for 45 minutes.
Kids are great.
And there's, spoiler alert, there's poop jokes in it. So
good.
You're just waiting for that big fart sound effect to come at the end and hear their reaction. The show ends with a giant cow patty ending up on the main 2 characters.
Oh, nice.
So,
oh, wow. Yeah. I love a good poop humor.
And then a song about poop. So
I need to come see the show.
Yeah, and we'll be running that all the way through April. We're going to Laverne's Library and Line Ball Library. Like I said, Boys and Girls Center and Discovery Center. Or Boys and Girls Club, sorry.
No, that's cool. So tell me a little history about MLT.
All right, so there's
this is the hard stuff, right?
Well, there's a lot of history to MLT, and and so it's almost like lore now, because it's kind of more told than it is written down anywhere. Things that are for sure is that it started in 1962. I think Circle Players beats out MLT by 1 year for being the oldest community theater in Middle Tennessee.
Wow.
But so it's been here a long time, and it started at Woodfin's Funeral Home, and they did a show or 2 there, and then got the log cabin that was built during Roosevelt's New Deal, and they got it on Ewing Boulevard, so they got the cabin. Mm-hmm. They outgrew that, and that's when the Center for the Arts used to be the post office or whatever it was before. So the city turned the post office into an art center, but they didn't just hand it over to MLT. They created the Cultural Arts Commission that had to be city and county approved board members, and MLT was the resident theater company. And now this is where you'll start getting different stories from people. But from what I understand, the agreement was that MLT, it was like a 2/3, 1/3 split or something like that of the ticket sales, or there was some split. And then when they renegotiated, the Center for the Arts wanted a larger cut of the ticket sales, and MLT decided that they just financially wouldn't be able to survive. So that's when the contract with the Center for the Arts ended, and MLT was out on the streets. And that's when we met.
That's the first time that they were homeless.
Yes. And so they were at the VA for a while. I think they did a season in Patterson Park. I was in New York for a year of that. So, and then eventually the city contacted Murfreesboro Little Theater and talked about the old log cabin where they used to be, and it needed a new roof, a $30,000 new roof, but otherwise it was it was condemned, and basically the city said, we'll give you a loan to do the roof, and you can have that theater back to work in as long as you pay off the loan. And so they were there for 10, 15 years. I know it was long enough to pay off the roof. And about a year after the roof was done, they did an inspection and decided the building needed to be torn down. And so
feels about right.
That I was not on the board at that point, but it happened very quickly that the city came in and put a lock on the door, and then a couple months later, it was a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So that'd be the second time that MLT was and where we are currently. But one of the awesome things that happened with losing the log cabin was we met some really awesome people. James and Connor and them over at Oakland's Mansion.
Love James and Connor.
And then Ricky over at the Walnut House. And then there's the Mills Pate Art Center down on Old Nashville Highway, Tyson down there. And they all kind of opened their doors to us. And the one that's really just seemed to be a good fit for both groups has been Oakland's Mansion. And that's where you'll see we're more and more of our shows are ending up there. Because like with the senior show, I was talking to Connor about just seeing if there was one that we could do, one public performance to do for family and stuff like that.
Right.
And they like the idea and the mission of working with the seniors, because obviously seniors love Oakland's Mansion. Yeah. And so they offered a weekend. So that was 3 more performances that we got to do, and also free for seniors. So I think opening night there, out of the 60 something seats we had, 42 of them were seniors. And so it was just another route to reach the people we were trying to help. And, and we've, for the last 3 years, I think we've done outdoor Shakespeare there. So Shakespeare at Oakland's Mansion, free. This past Halloweenish time, they did their Oktoberfest, and they asked about a stage, and I had a stage because I set up a stage for the Nashville Shakespeare Festival every year. And so I put a stage out in front of the mansion, and that worked out great. And then Connor was like, man, it's a shame that it has to come down. I was like, well, how about we do a show next week, which we planned it before that. But so we did the Crucible outdoors.
Okay.
So and we did that for free, for just donation based. So a lot of what we do over at Oakland's, if it's outdoors, so far everything's been donation based, and then we did Glass Menagerie in their wedding hall, and that was an incredible production.
Yes, it was. I got to see that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Missy brought me over for my birthday.
That's right.
It was a great show.
Yeah. And, which I got, I guess, breaking news if you want it.
I love breaking news.
I think it's getting posted today. So Kyle Thomas, who played Tom in Glass Menagerie, he's a local playwright, and the last couple of years, he's written something that's been accepted to the Rogue Theater Festival in New York City. And the play that he wrote called Clocks Are Like Angels was accepted, and MLT will be producing it. And so we'll be going off-Broadway. We'll be taking Clocks Are Like Angels up to New York. And so we're super proud of Kyle. And last year we got to do this, and I think we were on a Tuesday night because it's a theater festival, but this year this show is he's the headliner, so he's got the Saturday slot, and it's a show about the poor people that were displaced when TVA dammed up, created Norris Dam, and how that affected one family's life, and because you think about the hydropower and all the progress, you don't think about the poor people that get displaced,
right,
and going, hey, it's going to be greater. And it's like, well, it's going to be greater in a place that I can't afford.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's sad. Sorry.
Great.
It is not an upbeat.
It's not an upbeat fun show. Okay, heard. It's just a fun show. Okay, sad fun shows. I love them. So I know there's questions I have, and my brain is processing as fast as it can. MLT, you said it's been around since 62. Long time. God, that's a long time. This year, your season, what does your season run?
We go from September to August 31st, so whatever that business year, the business type year.
And how many shows do y'all typically produce a year?
Probably around 6.
Okay,
I think is the goal.
And you're now traveling all over the world and
Yeah.
being all the cool things that all artists want to be. How does MLT support that? How do they fund those programmings and things?
Yeah. So what's shocking is that we make more money off of doing free shows than we do off of charging tickets, because which all of our shows or I mean, sometimes we'll have to we do a fundraiser, but all of our shows, we always have a pay what you can option. And sometimes people pay twice the ticket price. And when people donate, usually they throw in a 20 instead of a 10. But so donations and grants, the Tennessee Arts Commission, we wouldn't be able to do the soaring stage stuff without them, because they take care of the royalties and all the stuff to get rid of the overhead.
Right.
And then we're a membership organization, so people that are members of MLT, that's the first line of income, and the thing that we depend most on, because it's like, and hopefully we try to make sure that our members know their money goes to help people be able to come see shows for free. And because since the cabin went down, we decided to change philosophy in a big way, and decided if we're going to matter to the community, we need to matter to the community. And so from that moment on, it came to, instead of going, hey, I love this show, let's do it. It's like, how can we take a show and use it as a tool to do something good? And so that's been the philosophy. And we still have the glass menageries and stuff like that. But even with that, it's going, that type of show done at Oakland's Mansion, just you start talking about that time period and the ways that women were treated not that long ago. And then you start thinking history, and bam, you're right there at Oakland's Mansion to explore even more history. And unfortunately, too much of our history is terrible.
Yeah.
But and so it's, I say we nickel and dime our way. That it's the Bernie Sanders method.
Right.
That it's just a lot of people give a little, and our financials are public record. So when the cabin went down, I think there was 14,000 in the bank account. 4.5 years later, we're over 70,000. We're putting money in a CD.
That's awesome.
That'll equal, and we got business members too that pay more. One of them's Dad. So like, Dad, give the theater money.
So with all of that going on, how do y'all staff that? Are y'all a volunteer based? Do you have staff members?
No, we are all volunteers. So it's like the board members run everything. So a lot of it is President Emma Hawkins, because she's young. She can.
It's good to have energy.
Yeah, she can still do a lot of the stuff that I'm like, I got to take a nap.
Yeah, I feel that. That's awesome though. Y'all have such a dedicated board.
Jordan's on there, her.
I do know Jordan Dickerson. Yes, with Murfreesboro Coal Patrol.
Yes,
we love her. She's
great
Team Jordan.
Yeah, we try to help them out as much as we can.
Yeah, they do great work. They do great work over there. So if someone's wanting to be a part of MLT, or they want to help out with MLT, or they want to be on the board, how do they contact someone to get started with MLT?
The easiest way is Facebook. It's just, we got a page and a group. The group's more casual. I don't know if you follow, but yesterday we did a little April Fool's joke. We put out sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Please go. I love tangents.
Because I was laughing about it this morning. We put out, because we are doing Romeo and Juliet at Oakland's this summer.
Okay.
So that is going to happen, and we're going to have auditions coming up. But we put out that we were going to combine two of the greatest feuds, the Capulets and the Montagues, with Star Trek versus Star Wars, and do a Star Trek versus Star Wars.
That sounds
Romeo
really fun, Shane.
Yeah, there's probably some copyright
I'm
laws in
sure
there
there
that wouldn't work. And so there were a ton of responses like, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. And so Emma had to go back through and say, thank you for participating in our April Fool's joke. But
I love that, though. That's awesome.
It was, that was fun. But so if we have a page and
how can people find your page on Facebook?
you just type in
Murfreesboro
there,
Little Theatre.
Yep. And it'll show up. We've got an Instagram. I don't know how to work that, but
Understood.
but one of them does. And then through our website, www.mltarts.com, there's a button there that you can click to communicate. Eventually, we have a phone, but we don't know where it is.
Oh,
So,
that's
so
fun.
don't call it if you
Don't call it.
don't
'cause
call the
nobody's
number.
gonna answer.
Yeah, don't call the number if you see it. Now we're working on that because I think it used to be Wayman's phone.
Okay.
So it might be a flip phone.
Understood.
We, we got to get a new one.
Things happen. So, do y'all have office space anywhere where if someone did want to come in and help out with something, creating promos or flyers or whatever, do y'all have a space they could do that?
We do not. We use Cultivate sometimes, but that's mainly for like if we do an audition, or sometimes we'll book it for a board meeting, and sometimes we're over at Oakland's, but sometimes we're at a board member's apartment. So now we don't have anything like that.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking. I like to know things. MLT this season, what shows do y'all still have coming?
So we'll be doing Kyle's show, The Clocks Are Like Angels.
When will that be?
June.
It'll run in June.
Yep. So the performance in New York is June 8th. So I'm hoping to get it done the weekend after here in Murfreesboro. And then really the next thing up is Romeo and Juliet. We'll have auditions for that in May and rehearse through the summer and put that up in August.
So if people want to audition for Romeo and Juliet, they need to be watching your Facebook page.
Yep.
Because that's where it'll be posted.
Yeah, and it's casual. It's not like you have to come in with a resume and
headshots and all the fun things.
and memorized monologues. It's like, I got a degree and I had to do all of those things, but those were for paying gigs. People that are volunteering their time, we understand that it's supposed to be fun. So and it's been great because we've gotten so many new people over the last 4 years that and just every different level of experience, and so that's why we hope to keep going, because that's the only way to keep it growing. Is new faces, different levels of experience, because some will fall in love with it, and I warn them that it can become
addictive.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah. So the Brandon, the dude that was in the other guy in Glass Menagerie, that was his first show.
Oh wow!
And
he did really good.
Yeah, he did. And I asked him afterwards. I said, "So how did it feel?" And he said, "Well, I was a little nervous at first." And I was like, "No. After you walked off stage and you knew and you felt like you did a great job and you were and all that," and he just smiled. And he said, "Oh, that felt real good."
Yeah.
And I said, "And that has led people to make a lot of terrible life decisions."
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. There's nothing like being on a stage, not like you're prepared, right? But that intensity, that adrenaline, just it'll hit you every time.
Yep. And that's I think that's why a lot of people keep coming back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I performed in Godspell, it was the first show I did with Murfreesboro Little Theatre, and it was the most fun I've ever had in my entire life.
Was that the one at the VA too?
It was.
With Freddie Snell.
We did Godspell, and then we did To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, that was
after.
because that was the first one in the VA, because it was cause everyone was afraid to play with those crazy Frankenstein looking lights.
Yep. We were in the main
empty
floor.
spot, yep.
Yeah, the wheelchair accessible spots. Yes. Yeah, that was a great show, and it bit me, and I did To Kill a Mockingbird, and I got unbit real quick. Is what happened. No, that was a stressful show, but I loved it. It was great, but I still do stuff. I still have fun. I love the theater. I always have.
Yeah.
I went to school for a degree in theater and went on to grad school for a degree in theatrical arts therapies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I love the arts, and it's all because of MLT. So thank y'all for that.
Well, you're so welcome. But at the same time, you're also probably one of the handful of people that remember the VA days.
Well, it was a bazillion years ago, Shane.
I don't have anybody to talk to about that. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
Which just means I'm the old guy now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not old. Well, you've got Murfreesboro.com is your website.
MLTarts.com.
MLTarts.com. See, it's important I repeat things. MLTarts.com, so people can contact y'all. They can donate.
Yep.
There's a donate on there.
Yep. And it's got all the Stinky Cheese Man dates on there and where we'll be.
And it'll have the Romeo and Juliet and all of them.
Yep. I mean, now nothing's out there about Romeo and Juliet auditions yet, because that's the hard thing. We can't schedule too far out because, our community partners were like, hey, which date do you have nothing going on?
Yeah.
And so we kind of go off of that. And so we don't want to book a place that can make money off of it. So,
Right.
So we try to which Romeo and Juliet, it'll probably be like daytime and outside because it's Shakespeare in the Park. So
can't wait. Facebook is Murfreesboro Little Theater. Search it. Instagram, search Murfreesboro Little Theater.
Yep.
They'll find you somehow, right?
Yep.
What else? What am I forgetting, Trent?
I think
I'm
we got
stuff.
I think we got a X or Twitter, whatever Twitter is.
Oh, I don't use that one. It's confusing me. I hate that one. I don't know how to use Instagram that well. Do y'all have a Snapchat?
Nope. I don't
TikTok?
think so. There's TikTok. I don't know what that is though.
Oh. So if they search Murfreesboro Little Theater,
I
they may
imagine.
be able to find it. That's awesome. All right. Well, as always, I want to say thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. We should do it
It's
again.
been a really good time and learned a lot about Murfreesboro Little Theater.
Oh yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg there.
Yeah, I love it. And as always, I want to say thanks to our producer, Trent Denson, with Spread the Positive, bringing light to what's going right. Y'all have a great rest of your day.